We are live.
We are live.
All right, we are live. We've got 2 minutes.
We are live.
All right, we are live. We've got 2 minutes.
We are live.
Good morning. This is your wake-up call.
It's time to wake up, Wisconsin.
Wake me up!
All right, rise and shine, Sleeping Beauty. Come on, hop, hop, hop.
This is the Wisconsin Sports Wake Up Call on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network.
Wake up, Daddy's home.
Here's your host, Josh Albrecht.
Meckler, one hopper to Pratt. Nice pick, throw to first, and this ball game is over. Great play by Cooper Pratt. He added the insurance and then closes the game for Trevor McGill and the Brewers.
Yeah, that's not what happened yesterday. But I thought it was more important to play this morning because the Brewers still won the series. And there's going to be a lot of talk this morning. It's not going to be necessarily happy news, so let's try focusing on the happy news once in a while when we can. Good morning, Wisconsin. This is the Wisconsin Sports Wake-Up Call. I'm Josh Albrecht, Aaron Morse alongside all of you as well on the Nicolay Law Fan Talk and Text line, 414-677-1250. You can, of course, also be watching us on the Growth Law stream. Injured Growth Gets It. And if you're doing that, you're seeing I am not in studio. I am coming to you live from Green Bay, Wisconsin, in the lobby of the American. I never really knew how to say that.
Yeah, it's just correct. Like American. Yeah. American.
Here in Green Bay, Zabe and I up here for
we do 2 hours of trying to figure out how to say American.
Yeah, probably. Let us know the right way to say it. 414-677-1250. Man, do I have stories to tell about just how crazy of a night it was last night, trying to make sure that we were going to be able to do the show, that it wasn't just 3 hours of Aaron Morse this morning, which absolutely was.
People would have loved that. Oh, people would have loved it.
Especially on a day like today, especially on a Monday like today. Whoo, that could have been something. All right. A lot of things happened over the weekend. Let's get into it. Hey, what happened? The first thing that happened was the Brewers beat the Angels 2 games out of 3. Let's focus on that. We don't have to focus on what happened yesterday. I mean, we're going to talk about it, but that's not, they took 2 out of 3. They won another series, Aaron. They won the series, right?
They did.
Yep. Can't be positive about that though. Can't
trying to, not bring the negative vibes right away. They did win the series.
Yes, they did. See?
Yeah.
They won the series. They do lose 3-0 in the potential Game 3 sweep. And I promise you, I feel like the reason why people are even more upset about it is just because Miz was on the mound. Miz gave up another home run, and that ended up being the only offense in the entire game as the Brewers provided 0, which I also thought was kind of funny because, and of course we'll get into the Skubal news, but everyone was saying like, oh, we didn't get Skubal. Well, Skubal wouldn't have hit. And so that being the second time on this road trip that the Brewers got absolutely shut out, which was unfortunate. Happened again. Not a bad outing from Miz, though. He still went 7 innings, gave up 2 hits, just one of them being the long ball, had 10 Ks, 83 pitches. So I understand the frustration. I still feel like the frustration with the loss was more focused on the fact that the Brewers didn't make a big splash and that Miz was on the mound. If it was Sproat on the mound and they lost 3-0, they would have been upset, but not as upset. That makes sense?
I don't know if I agree.
No? Okay.
Scoring 0 runs against the worst team in baseball? I think anytime that your starting pitcher gives up 2 hits in 7 innings, you should probably win the game, no matter who it is. I mean, it could have been Mike Zagurski out there throwing 7 innings, 2 hits, and I think people would be upset about scoring 0 runs against the Angels.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, no one in Wisconsin is partying this morning because of that news. I'm just saying I feel like there were bigger things happening that made that a little bit more upsetting than just the fact that the offense
definitely
the offense
definitely piled on. I mean, it was just a pile driver of a 24 hours for Brewers fans.
Right.
You lose out on acquiring Skubal. You have a 500 road trip because you lost the final game 3-0. You get shut out. You should get shut out 3-0 twice in a 6-game road trip against the 2 worst teams in baseball. Yeah, I think all of it just a big culmination, a big hill of despair. It all came together last night.
So let's just get into it then. Let's get into it because the big thing that happened was that the Brewers acquired Bo Naylor. That was the big splash everyone was looking for, right?
Don't forget about Cody Hoyer.
Oh, yeah, and Cody Hoyer as well. For Perkins and Yoho, the law firm of Perkins and Yoho. So that wasn't the splash we were looking for. I don't think that a lot of people were terribly upset. I do think that people were I did see some, thank you appreciation posts for Perkins, but also, I mean, Blake Perkins was struggling all season long, and it seemed like you couldn't really find a role for him even.
The only reason why I was on the team for so long is because everyone just kept getting hurt.
Right.
But I think most of the thank you appreciation kind of stuff is for the last 3 years. I mean, he was part of 3 division titles, and he was, for points, a big part of it, playing center field and the mostly everyday center fielder for the team for the past couple of years. And he was never great, but he was good enough to make some sort of impact on the team. I don't know what happened this year, but they got off of him, I guess.
Right. I mean, that was the thing, is that he was useful, not great in the past, had very clutch at bats and fielding, right? Definitely have some Blake Perkins highlights when you look back at his career as a Milwaukee Brewer, but ends up being part of a trade. Not a lot of people upset about that, knowing our mentality and what we're looking for this season, and knowing Blake Perkins and Craig Yo both, they weren't getting it done. They weren't going to be the guys that were going to be there in a Game 7 of the World Series, right? What we were hoping would be one of those guys was Tree Skubal. who did not go to the Brewers. Indeed, he goes to the Dodgers, and that just started the floodgates of everyone losing their mind, including yours truly, because baseball's broken. Baseball's broken. Now, this does cause a debate, and Aaron, I know you said that you were already going through it, doing the post game with Tim Allen last
Oh yeah,
night.
people were fighting each other in the comments section last night. It's kind of funny.
Fighting each other in the comment section,
telling people that they were idiots and hey, shut up, and people were not having it.
So if the Dodgers end up giving up Hope, Ryan, and Smith, their 5th, 7th, and 17th top prospects, and now are those are in their organization, or are those?
Yes, in their organization.
So that is not like on the top 100.
Hope was 25th in baseball, and River Ryan was 69th in baseball.
And a ton of people were upset because they were just going, man, you got to be kidding me. Now there were the other side of this coin of a lot of people that were, I don't think a ton of Brewers fans, but just if you were paying attention and following this all on social media, that were going, yeah, but the Brewers, this is the Brewers' fault, because the Brewers could have made more moves. They could have added more to outbid on the system there to make sure that the Tigers sent us Scooble. And I don't know that I necessarily see it. It's a completely different situation. It's a completely different situation for what the Dodgers had to give up to what the Brewers would have had to give up. I'm not exactly sure why that's the case. Adam McCalvy put out a tweet that said that if they were looking for something, they were going to be looking at Luis Pena, who I think all of us kind of knew, a Bishop Letson in the trade, but then the big one was Logan Henderson. And the Logan Henderson one to me is a lot of people were going, well, if you really wanted Scooble, then why didn't they include Logan Henderson? Logan Henderson's not a prospect. Can we just admit that? Like all the players that the Dodgers gave up are prospects, and they're not.
Logan Henderson's more of a prospect than River Ryan. Logan Henderson is much more of a prospect. River Ryan is 27 years old.
Okay. Is he?
He's not a prospect.
Is he currently?
That's a pretend prospect, huh?
Is he currently on their 40-man on the Dodgers?
Yes, he is.
And yet also,
and he's not good enough to pitch on the team.
Right.
Now, obviously, they're loaded in their pitching rotation, but he's 27. Logan Henderson is more of a prospect than River Ryan is.
Well, and so maybe to the Dodgers organization, Logan Henderson's a prospect. On the Milwaukee Brewers team, he's not a prospect. Like I
disagree.
He's he's
a rookie
starter.
He's still a prospect. He's a rrookie. He's not technically a prospect by the way that the MLB service time works and how the MLB.
That's what I'm looking at. To me, if you're a prospect because you're not on a major league roster right now. Once you start games in the bigs, now you're building your case file.
River Ryan has pitched in 4 games in the big leagues in his career, but it was in 2024. I mean, he's basically Logan Henderson. How about this? Logan Henderson is a better asset than River Ryan.
Sure.
And I would argue that Logan Henderson is a better asset than any of the 3 guys that the Tigers got in return. I would include Zaire Hope in that conversation. Hope might be a little better than Henderson, but I would say that Henderson's more valuable as a starting pitcher who has had extreme success in the big leagues so far. I think for the Dodgers or the Tigers to say, hey, it's got to be Logan Henderson in the deal or we're not doing it is a little steeper of a price than what they got. I think it's a little unfair of a request from the Tigers based on what they got from the Dodgers.
Which might be the case. I don't know. In general, I think it would have been fine, honestly, if Logan Henderson still did move. but I didn't want that to be a piece. I didn't think that should be a piece. I'm surprised that that was such a big piece. I mean, multiple sources saying that the Tigers were insistent on having Logan Henderson being a part of the trade. The bigger thing just being the risk. That's the biggest difference between the Dodgers' path here and the Brewers' path, is that the Dodgers are already in a position to where if they had to give up Hope, Ryan, and Smith, they're okay. If the Brewers give up a Logan Henderson, okay, well now you're literally moving one of your starters potentially for multiple years for a rental in your rotation. So yeah, your first three get better, but your full rotation doesn't. Again, I still think the Brewers could have made the move, but it's definitely more of a risk than what the Dodgers would have had to make. And that's the current situation of Major League Baseball.
All right. John in Franklin is on the phone, and he wants to give his thoughts on the trade deadline so far.
All right,
hey,
good morning, John.
Good morning, guys. Thanks for getting me on. Initial reaction to Scuba going to the Dodgers, disappointment at first. But part of me all along was hoping if they dish, because I feel like you look at what the Dodgers gave up, and we can't really compare it to what we have in our farm system. I mean, we can just compare the numbers, but talent-wise, it's kind of hard to do because it doesn't look like they gave up as much as we would have thought we would have had to give up. But don't forget, if we get him, how many games is he pitching? I understand. It's a rental. This is the gamble. But the Brewers can not gamble on the same plane as the Dodgers logically. So I've all along said I want them to get a middle of the order bat, professional hitter, someone that'll foul off 8 balls once in a while, not just, we go in and out against these really good pitchers and, 9, 11 pitches. We need to be more disciplined when we go up against these guys because that's what we're going to go up against in the playoffs. But I'm okay with it. Plus, macro look, guys, if the Dodgers do it again, it almost looks like they got him as a defensive move, so other teams couldn't get Scooble, and I think it plays better for the negotiations over the coming year.
All right, thanks for the call, John. Appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, I agree with the majority of what he said. The one thing that I'm finding it difficult to get on board with is this idea of, well, okay, but this is good for baseball because, like as a Brewer fan, I can look at that and go, this will change things. First of all, we have no idea. We have no idea if this will actually bring about change. That's all still hope. There's plenty of reason to still say that this specific move is not the nail in the coffin for Major League Baseball not having a salary cap. We have no idea. And so it's hard for me to look at it in that way. I think that conversation still happens, even if Scooble goes to the Brewers. I don't think that the Brewers landing Scooble or the Rays landing Scooble leads to this side going, oh, see, so other teams can still trade. Like, it's just a completely different thing. Scooble already came out and had said that in free agency he was going, his preferred destination was the Dodgers anyway. I think that probably had more of a fuel to the fire for the argument of there needing to be a salary cap, because it's a trade. Trades happen. That has nothing to do with salary cap beyond just, the money that the Dodgers still have to pay that was still on the contract. But besides that, I mean, that's just has you where it is. As far as what John said about having a hitter, yeah, I mean, we talked for months, Aaron. We've been talking for months about the Brewers getting a bat. What bat, right? Like, they could still do it. The trade deadline's not until 5 p.m. today, but I still don't know. I haven't seen anything that would make me feel like there is a good, worthy bat of a trade that there are even discussions about. Doesn't mean it's not going to happen, but I'm definitely not getting my hopes up there. I'm also hey, what happened? Not getting my hopes up about Freddie Peralta coming back because he went to the Rays. So that was the move that the Rays made. They went and got Freddie Peralta. Adam McCalvey saying that the Brewers were really never interested in bringing Freddie back, which I think you were the one that said, like, unless we could get him for nothing, go ahead.
Yeah.
I do think it's interesting that everyone that we're looking at this from the Brewers' perspective. I don't think Stearns would have wanted to make that phone call.
Yeah,
Right?
if you're him, you can't really make that trade. You can't
Right.
get washed twice.
Not
right?
if you want to keep your job.
Yeah, you can't get washed in a trade, then try trading the player back to the team. And what if Freddie Peralta turns back into a 3.5 ERA pitcher for the Brewers the rest of the season? He's going to get crushed. I mean, that is a fireable offense. If you trade for a player and then trade him away, and he's only good when he's not on your team.
Yeah, I mean, in general, it was a move that I didn't think the Brewers needed to make, and it was definitely one that I didn't think that the Mets were going to make, sending him back here. He goes to the Rays, which is absolutely fine. Here's the thing. I got nothing against Freddie Peralta, right? Like, if he ends up doing well with the Rays and it was just something within the Mets organization, fantastic. Like, I'd like to still see Freddie do well, and it's not hurting the Brewers having him on the Rays, right? Like, that's where I kind of wish Scooble went if he wasn't going to be a Brewer either.
Until a World Series. Then he could hurt the Brewers.
Yeah, sure. Which, if we're at that point, then I'll take that back.
Yeah.
But that also means we're playing in the World Series. So
against the Rays.
Against the Rays,
yeah.
Which is literally Major League Baseball's nightmare. Their biggest nightmare would be that matchup. All right, coming up next, we have How'd you sleep? I need to know, how'd you guys sleep last night? How'd you sleep over the weekend, especially with that Scooble news? We're going to get more of your reaction to Scooble not being a Brewer and what you think is going to happen today before the trade deadline. What happens with the Milwaukee Brewers? We're also going to give you some Packers updates, especially since we're here at training camp. And I got a story to tell of setting all this up and being able to join you here this morning. We will do all of that when we come back on the Wisconsin Sports Wake Up Call, live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook.
So you think you can love me?
Baseball coverage on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network is presented by Xfinity. Score the most reliable Wi-Fi, one price, 5 years, guaranteed. Xfinity, imagine that. Welcome back to the Wisconsin Sports Wake Up Call. I'm Josh Albrecht, Aaron Morse alongside, and we are live from Green Bay, Wisconsin, as we make our way to training camp for a couple days later today. But first, we need to figure out, how'd you guys sleep? How'd you guys sleep out there? You guys are already with it. We had John and Franklin calling in the first segment of the show, and the talk and text line is blowing up. So I'm going to get to some of these now before I tell you some stories. Let's start, as always, because he's always the first guy to text in, with Jeff in Fox Point, who went and said, hey, guys, pitching is not the issue. We need a bat or two today. What hitters are available to get in a trade? We've been so focused on pitching. That, again, Jeff in Fox Point. Here's the thing. The reason why that's the case, Jeff, is because we feel like there aren't as many opportunities to get a bat. So the big names that have been out there that could help this team have been going more towards pitching. I don't think necessarily that this Brewers team is looking at their roster and going, no, we're fine with hitting. We just need a bat. I think this is we're trying to get the best available, or at least the fan bases, that's what we're saying. If it doesn't matter what side of the ball it's on, we're just trying to get better to give ourselves the best chance. And it just so happens that this year, with trade opportunities and who's available at the deadline and what teams are sellers, it's leaning more towards pitching. And, of course, we were hoping more would happen over the weekend, with today being the trade deadline, and yet no big splash coming. Bob in Minneapolis, the biggest Brewers fan, texting in this morning and saying, surprise, 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 another exciting season. I will say, if a person is a fan of a small market team, if they don't support a lockdown, they're being short-sighted. There needs to be a lockdown. Yeah, I mean, that's definitely, I think, what a lot of the small market teams and fans are saying. There were even some tinfoil hat theories out there that the rest of Major League Baseball, the other owners, everyone else, was never going to let Skubal end up anything but a Dodger, because this helps the case that the owners want on their side of the argument of let's get a salary cap in place. I don't know if that's necessarily that's true, but who knows? All right, let's see here. The 920 said, don't be hysterical. This is the best Brewers team of my life. Yeah, okay. I mean, again,
I disagree with that, by the way. I don't think it's the best Brewers team of our lives.
So this was an argument that we literally had last season. Was last season's Brewers team the best Brewers team of our lives? What is that idea of ranking a team that makes them, quote unquote, the best team of our lives? I do not believe the 920 was born this year. So that I think there's definitely an argument to be made there.
Right, 2018 is better. 2018, the team that made the NLCS Game 7 is better.
I don't know. That's the thing. I don't know. To me, it's going to depend a lot on where they end up. For me, if I'm judging a team, I'm not judging it based in August. I'm that, especially early August. Like, I can't do that. I need more time than that. Nick in the 262 says, can't we just be happy for the Dodgers, guys? They finally got a guy that lets them compete for a title. All of the nice people in LA deserve this. Yes, that is exactly that Nick interested. Yeah, that's exactly how a bunch of people are feeling this way. Of course, the Dodgers just are dodgering, right? And yeah, it's frustrating. It's absolutely frustrating for sure. The 262 trying to look for a silver lining said they slept great knowing that Skubal is making his Dodgers debut against the Cubs this week.
I'm a little disappointed. It's on he's making his debut tomorrow. I'm going to the game on Wednesday. I was kind of hoping Skubal would make his debut Wednesday. I could see Skubal against the Cubs, but I guess not.
You're going to that game?
Yeah.
Why?
It's my birthday on Wednesday. I've never been to Wrigley. I've been thinking about going to Wrigley for my entire life.
Stop the show. You, on your birthday, are choosing to go to Wrigley Field when the Brewers are not even playing. Is that
my mom asked me if I wanted to go. I said sure. So we're going to the game for my birthday. Because I've been
mom a Cubs fan?
No. I've never been to Wrigley, and we've been talking about going to Wrigley. My grandpa's a big Cubs fan.
Okay.
And so they've been talking about bringing me to Wrigley since I was like 5 years old. Never been. So my mom said, let's go on Wednesday. I said, okay.
Wow, I just can't believe you're looking to have the worst birthday ever. You're setting yourself up for it.
It's gonna be great. I'm gonna go in my Garrett Mitchell jersey, and I'm just gonna sit in Wrigley with Dodgers fans and Cubs fans, and they can all hate me.
It's it's literally gonna be like every morning on the show. You're just gonna be surrounded with people giving you crap every day.
I'm just gonna say fantastic. rent free. Pay attention to your team on the field. That's all
my God.
Yeah.
On your birthday,
I went to a few years ago. I went to a Cowboys Vikings game in Minnesota in a Packers uniform. That was awesome. It's a Sunday night game. Yeah, people weren't happy with my Packers jersey from either side.
Were they more confused than anything, or were they just immediately angry?
I don't. Yeah, no. One guy was just walking past me and just flipped me the bird. It's like, all right, dude, cool. You got me.
I mean, I don't know. I feel like that might be a fair response. What are you doing here?
Well, I was in the area, and I was working that afternoon. I said, I'll just stay for a couple more hours. I went to the game.
I mean, yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
All right, I got to tell you how I slept. So we are at the American. I still don't know the right way to say it. American.
Just put a little extra emphasis on the in.
American.
Yeah. You nailed it.
That's so much more difficult than it needs to be. And so I get here last night. I should have probably gotten up here earlier, but it was a gorgeous night last night in the good land. And I was hanging out with the family, knowing that I was going to be gone for a couple of days. And so I got up here last night, and there's no Ethernet in the rooms. Right. The plan was always to just do the show from the hotel because it's early. It's early in the morning. And so I was like, let's just do the show from there. There's no Ethernet in the rooms. The Wi-Fi in the room, like in the hotel, not good enough to stream the show. Shout out to their, I don't know, whoever their guy is on site, their maintenance guy, Craig.
Let's go, Craig.
He said Craig with a C, which I was like, okay, clearly that was a thing earlier in life. Craig was absolutely a stud, ends up finding these cords. We're able to plug in our Ethernet, get it set up from the lobby to be able to do the show this morning. I was literally at 11 o'clock last night putting down duct tape to tape down, to gaff the cables running from their office out into the lobby for the show. And I'm just sitting here and I'm like, as I'm doing this, and I'm just like, this is radio, baby. Here we go. So it's 11 o'clock at night. I got to be up in a couple hours. We're taping down cords in the lobby to make sure. It was awesome. So a huge shout out to him to make sure that we can get this going. I was so like jacked to make sure, because I was legitimately worried because I knew you were asleep. I was like, by the time that Aaron wakes up, if he has a text from me saying, hey, prepare to do a show by yourself, that might not be great. We avoided it. We got there. Happy to be on this morning with all you guys. We also had some stuff we weren't able to get to in Hey What Happened that I think is important. I want to make sure we get into that some Packers news. The biggest thing that happened over the weekend in regards to the Packers was we had a name change. Of all the things we had a name change, Zach Tom changed his last name to Baku Biwele.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, he has plenty of reasons for why. We actually have that audio, Zach, explaining why.
I mean, yeah, that's really the main reason I did it. I want to have a name, especially like when I started having kids and stuff. I want to have a name that I can pass down where, it represents where they came from, where I came from, I didn't, I just feel like that name will, people will see that name and have a good understanding of who I am, where I come from.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, listen, Zach, you do you, right? Like, that's a good reason behind it. Man wants to change his name. Who are we to tell him not to? I do think for anyone that had a Zach Tom jersey, which, let's be honest, I don't think there were many, right? I don't know that
Probably
was a
not.
top seller in the Packers Pro Shop. Not that we
Maybe
don't
people with the
appreciate
name
Zach Tom. Right.
Yeah.
Right. It was probably something to do more with your last name or your first name than it was the player itself. But my biggest thing is that the dude had the easiest last name to say on the team. And now
tweeted
Baku
out
Biwele is the new one.
Not great. Yeah, I tweeted out very cool, and then in parentheses, selfishly, a big pain. Because
it's not that bad.
No, well, okay, no, but it's
Baku
so much
Biwele.
easier to just say Zach Tom or Tom instead of
easier
Zach
than saying
Baku Biwele.
Right. Nothing's easier than saying Zach Tom at all.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's just a little bit more of a pain. That way, it's Zach Tom.
I'm wondering how many people, even though they've done the story, we've talked about it, everyone else, I'm wondering how many people are going to still come to the games at the stadium and go,
and ask
did
people,
we trade Zach Tom? Where's Zach Tom?
Wait, did they sign this Baku Biwele guy off waivers?
Yeah, what's going on, man? Is he injured again? Oh, our team's in trouble. No, that's actually what? It'd be surprising to see that.
Oh, it's gonna be so many people. So many people aren't gonna know.
You think?
Yeah. How many people aren't on social media? Like just looking up how Zach Thomas changed his name.
Well, there will be more stories. Like the first couple of games, they'll still bring it up. When they go through and now let's look at get the lineup for the blah blah blah. They'll still explain it.
Yeah. They will. I'm telling you, there's going to be a lot of people. Think about how many old people there are that go to the games.
Yeah, that's
true. You're going to have no idea.
But are those people really looking at 50 on the field and going, able to see it doesn't say Tom? Like
maybe.
I don't know.
Maybe.
I don't think it's going to be a huge deal. It definitely isn't going to be as big of a deal as if Trey Smack misses a field goal or an extra point. He went 3 for 5 on field goals, missed wide left from 38, but it was a low snap, and then also 45. I think that's one of the main things that people are watching for at training camp. That will definitely be one of the things I'm looking for today, especially because he's new. But in general, I feel like even when, regardless who was there, if you have a kicker in camp that's missing field goals, you go, okay, can't do that during the season, though. All right, bud, let's just get that settled down. So that will be one of the things I think that is much more important and that people will focus on a lot more than what is on the back of 50's jersey at Lambeau Field. The thing that people are going to care the most about is what happens with the Milwaukee Brewers, as people are already super fired up about what is this team going to do, what's going to happen with the trade deadline approaching today at 5 p.m. Will the Brewers make a move? Do we need to start defending our emotions and being prepared for the Brewers to do nothing and end up not making?
Hey, they've done something. They've done something.
They've done nothing.
They've done something.
No. Naylor and Hoyer are nothing.
They've made a trade.
No.
That's something.
A trade and the trade are very different. The first word is important. But before that, we're gonna play a few highlights for you in the most electrifying sound from our boy who did hit the ball out of the ballpark over the weekend. All of that coming up in the most electrifying sound of the day when we come back on the Wisconsin Sports Wake Up Call. We are live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook.
It's time for
The most electrifying.
sound of the day.
The most electrifying.
Brought to you by Best Electric. Learn more at bestelect.com. Don't stress. Connect with the best.
2 on, 1 away. And that ball is hammered all the way back into right and gone for Bowers. Number 19. Slider down and in. And Bowers hit that thing to Huntington Beach. Reno as Bowers goes deep in right center. It is up and we're tied. Speaking of long balls, Bowers hits number 20.
Jake Bowers taking matters into his own hands on the first pitch, and he absolutely launches this ball out of here to right center field. Man, does he hit some majestic home runs.
He sure does. Jake Bowers, 19th and 20th home runs of the season. Call courtesy of Jeff Levering and Vinny Rottino. Brewers TV is the most electrifying sound of the day, brought to you by our friends at Best Electric. Remember, no job is too big or too small for Best Electric. Don't stress. Connect with the best. Call them today or visit bestelect.com. Aaron, I mean, I love that Bowers is hitting home runs, right? I wish that he wasn't the only power in the lineup, but he was on a little bit of a slump there. We thought it might be that toe thing that happened. He gets a couple of days. Do you think that there's something to this, just these guys needing a couple more days off and Murph trying to work in some off days here to get these guys ready to go?
Maybe, but then the problem is that everyone says, "Where's Bowers? Where's Churio?
Right?
Where's Mitch?" So then you get that because people want to see the best lineup every day. When that's not, one, it's not plausible, and two, it's never going to happen. I mean, no team is going to play their best players for 160 games a season. There's only like 8 players who play 162 on any team across baseball.
I mean, that's the other thing too. When you look at what the Dodgers, I think the Dodgers got swept in their
they did. Yeah, the Red Sox just swept them this weekend.
So the Red Sox sweep the Dodgers, and you're just kind of here going, but Dodgers fans aren't upset about it at all
because it doesn't matter.
Right.
That's why.
Because
it doesn't matter.
Because they know that this doesn't matter. Their team's going to be absolutely fine, and all of the players they need there in the postseason will be there. I think it's just a different mentality because of you've either been in that scenario or you haven't. And so I think for Brewers fans, we've been used to not having that mentality. We're used to having the mentality of we need to win every game.
And this is the thing for the Dodgers. It doesn't matter that Mookie Betts has an 86 OPS plus, well below average. It doesn't matter that Kyle Tucker is making $60 million a year and not performing well. It doesn't matter that Shohei's not pitching or Tyler Glasnow and Blake Snell have been on the injured list most of the year. It doesn't matter that these guys aren't performing well because they have everybody else on their team performing well enough, and nobody else has enough depth like that because they don't have enough money to spend. So the Dodgers don't care about anything until they have their full roster and when it gets to the postseason.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, and they have the luxury of not caring. They can not care.
Well, and that's it. Do you remember last season too? I mean, they were they a wild card? Were they a wild card team, or were they just in the
Not
wild card
last
series?
year, but 2 years ago? They were the Padres won the division.
I remember feeling like, okay, hey, the Dodgers got to run the gauntlet here. They're gonna, all these different scenarios, and then it ended up it didn't matter. It didn't matter at all. But before that postseason started last year, right? You were still looking at the Phillies as like the biggest team that might get in the Brewers' way. As long as
they still could this year. They still have Zach Wheeler and Christopher Sanchez and Jesus Luzardo to pitch. I mean, they could beat someone in a 5-game series quite easily. I mean, they're still going to be a good team. The Braves there's other teams that the Brewers have to worry about as well.
But do the Dodgers have to worry about them? Do the Dodgers
no,
have
not
to worry
really.
about the Phillies?
Dodgers don't have to worry about anybody.
See, so that's the difference, right? Is that you just made a great case for why the Phillies could absolutely be a World Series contending team, and that every other team that's going to make the postseason should have to not overlook them, except for the Dodgers. The Dodgers are going to be fine.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the other thing, too, is if the Brewers get eliminated, then are we all just becoming Dodgers fans? Are we all supposed to just hope that the Dodgers end up winning this whole thing so that then it leads
it's interesting.
That's going to be difficult to do.
On the post-game show the last 2 nights with Tim Allen, basically saying, yeah, if the Brewers aren't winning the World Series, I think my rooting interest has to be the Dodgers, which is awful. It sucks. But if I want the Brewers to improve their World Series chances, the best way is for the Dodgers to win a World Series and we get a little bit of a lockout this offseason.
See, so that's why I'm saying that the Skubal to the Dodgers trade doesn't mean anything for there being a lockout. It just doesn't. But we're going to talk about this a lot more in the 7 o'clock hour. It's time for you to get your feelings out. Give us a call. Shoot us a text on the Nicolay Law Fan Talking text line. Let us know how you're feeling this morning in regards to Skubal going to the Dodgers, the Brewers not making a trade. Do you think they will? The phone lines are open, people. Get it out this morning on the Wisconsin Sports Wake Up Call. All of that coming up next. This is the Wisconsin Sports Wake Up Call. We're live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook.
Good times, bad times.
Good morning. This is your wake-up call.
It's time to wake up, Wisconsin.
Wake me up! All right, rise and shine, Sleeping Beauty. Come on, hop, hop, hop.
This is the Wisconsin Sports Wake Up Call on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network.
Wake up, Daddy's home.
Here's your host, Josh Albrecht.
Meckler, one hopper to Pratt. Nice pick. Throw to first. And this ball game is over. Great play by Cooper Pratt. He added the insurance and then closes the game for Trevor McGill and the Brewers.
Yeah, that was the final call from Saturday, but that was one that I wanted to start the morning with because it is a good morning in the state of Wisconsin, despite the fact that Tariq Skubal is a Los Angeles Dodger and that the Brewers also got shut out in Game 3 of that series. But they won the series. They won the series against the Angels, and that's the positive thing that we're focusing on this morning, or at least I'm trying to find the optimism, the positivity somewhere. Aaron Moore's shaking his head at me.
No comment.
Yeah, right. Of course. Oh, perfect.
I'm gonna talk about that like Mizorowski talked about the trade deadline yesterday. Did you see that?
Yeah, I sure did. He said, "Yeah, I don't want to talk about it. Don't
stop asking the question.
Stop asking you can just stop asking the question." That was very interesting. We're going to get to all of that right now on the Wisconsin Sports Wake Up Call. Good morning, Wisconsin. I'm Josh Albrecht. Aaron Morse alongside. Aaron Morse back in the Potawatomi Sportsbook Studios. And I am here at the American. I'm definitely getting better at doing
Nailed it. Yeah, you did.
Here in Green Bay, Wisconsin. Steve Zabin and myself going to training camp later today. Got a couple of days up here in Green Bay. Going to say hi to some familiar faces. If you're over there, feel free to say hi. Happy to be back up here in Green Bay for camp. But the news of the day absolutely is Skubal going to the Dodgers and what happens on trade deadline day for the Milwaukee Brewers. We want to know what you think the Brewers are going to do. What do you want them to do today at this point with Skubal no longer being an option? I thought it was very interesting. I'm not sure if you saw this, Aaron, but Steve Sparky Pfeiffer, you've heard of him?
Maybe.
Okay, he's on from 2 to 5 here on Wisconsin Sports Radio Network on Wisconsin Sports Daily. And he tweeted out, he said this 17 hours ago, he said, with Skubal going to the Dodgers, would you still be aggressive if you are the Brewers at the trade deadline? I don't think I would. I find that crazy, personally. Sparky, I think that's crazy. The biggest wall standing in your way of making it to the World Series just got the piece that you needed. They got that much better. And you think the next thing to do is nothing? That to me is waving a white flag. I'm not saying that the Brewers can't do anything, but the odds of them making it, you can just ask Vegas or anyone else. You can go to Potawatomi. The odds got better for the Dodgers to win the World Series. They did not get 155. Better. They did not get better for the Milwaukee Brewers. If the Brewers stand pat and they don't do anything at this point, that is a negative for this team. They got to go get something. We talked about at a minimum them going and getting depth and adding depth, even if it wasn't a big name, just getting arms, maybe even getting some pieces that were going to be able to help just get them through August and September to not have the guys that we need in October be so fatigued. There's absolutely no reason why they shouldn't try to go and get something from someone. I absolutely if we go into the trade deadline, Aaron, which I hate that this is a real possibility, but if it hits 5:01 p.m. Central Time, and the only trade that the Brewers made was for Naylor and Hoyer, I'm gonna be upset. They got to do something today.
We're gonna be switching roles today on the show, huh?
You think they're fine?
I think it's a waste of resources to go after it this year now. It's a waste of resources. I didn't think they were going to beat the Dodgers before this trade, and they certainly aren't going to do it now, no matter who they add at the deadline. But in 9 hours, 54 minutes, and 25, 24, 23 seconds.
So in your mind, just give up. That's what you're saying?
No, not give up. You're certainly going to try your best, and with this squad you got, everyone's been telling me this is the best team in baseball. They have the best record. They can compete with the Dodgers. Why couldn't they? They don't need to add a big name. So what's the change up now? Just because they added Skubal? Oh, okay.
No.
But it's a waste. It's a waste of resources to trade Luis Pena or Andrew Fisher or Josh Mshesky or Jet Williams or Bishop Letson or Braylon Payne, whoever else that you want to throw in there. It's a waste of resources to trade for them right now.
We go to the Nicolay Law fan talk and text line, which is exactly where I want to hear from you. Feel free to give us a call. Send us a text, 414-677-1250. 414 said, man, we got to get Mason Miller from the Padres and a home run hitter. I feel Skubal will be hurt or limited with the Dodgers. Don't know about that. It seems like a lot of times once people go to the Dodgers, all of a sudden when it matters most, they're feeling just fine. What about Mason Miller, though? Right? Like, you still don't think – I mean, you were pretty gung-ho on just having a few names, Luis Pena not being one of them, that were off limits, that you were saying go get these guys. Well, all of a sudden – I mean, at one point we were having the conversation of Miller or Skubal. I mean –
I was saying both.
Right, but now I'm saying now Skubal's out.
Yeah,
now you don't want them to go after Miller anymore?
Exactly, because I was saying both in order to become the favorite. Now you don't even get Skubal, and the team you're trying to chase gets him. There's no way that they can even themselves out with the Dodgers at this deadline.
I don't think there was. I don't think there was a chance, even if they got those two guys. I don't think there's.
So then why should they? So then why should they go out and trade for someone like Mason Miller or someone a big name now?
Yourself the best shot. We want a World Series,
right?
man.
Yeah, right. And now it has flipped to the best shot is going for it in the next season of baseball that happens. That is the best chance to win a World Series now. And then you can trade those guys for something better. Don't waste your assets on a broken season. Use them. Don't waste them. Use them properly when you're going to have a real shot in whenever the next season of baseball is.
The 262 said, if the Dodgers win the World Series and there's no baseball next year, which I think is going to happen, what does baseball do to bring fans back in 2028? They play baseball. You're forgetting that we will go without baseball. We will be very, very happy when baseball. Do you not remember 2020? Do you not remember when there was COVID, how desperate we were for sports? We will come crawling back at that point.
By the way, Mason Miller isn't available either. The Padres are a game out of a playoff spot. They're not trading Mason Miller.
Well, if they trade Mason Miller, they're definitely not trading it for all prospects. See, if they wanted Logan Henderson, I would be like, okay, that makes more of a sense. You're trading a guy with team control, knowing that you still have a chance of making you're not bona fide sellers.
Does that give you a better chance in a series losing your number 3 pitcher that's probably got to pitch twice in a 7-game series? That makes you better?
Probably not. I'm just saying it would definitely take more to get him than I think it would have with Skubal. And yet, now we know what they're all saying it would have taken from the Brewers to get Skubal. And that has us where it is. The 414 says, I hate that the national media is saying that the Brewers could do what the Dodgers did. They can't. The Tigers would have taken a lot more from the Brewers in a trade. Also, they can't afford to empty their farm system because they can't just buy more players. Finally, what's with the Dodgers paying less into shared income because of their bankruptcy? I have a lot more, but I want to keep it short. That was decently long anyway. But, so a lot of things there. Yeah, the national media saying, and a lot of, it seems like on Twitter and social media in general, a lot of baseball fans saying, well, Brewers fans are complaining, but they could have put more in there, not understanding. And this is the thing that's frustrating, that we, as fans of the smallest markets in baseball, look at and say the Brewers can't just spend a bunch of money to go get whoever they want. Free agency with the Milwaukee Brewers is a completely different game than what the Dodgers do. The Dodgers can go, they're in on anybody. They can go and pay anybody. I think I saw that like they have in like 6 or 8 players, they have over $1 billion deferred. Like, it's just
Shohei has $760 million deferred just to himself.
Just in himself.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, and we the Brewers, like, this is what I want people to focus on. This is the problem with baseball, is that you're looking at that scenario with the Dodgers and the Brewers taking Contreras to arbitration over $800,000. That's the difference with these two teams and where they're at and why the Brewers can't just make that move, because the risk of the gamble for the Brewers is so much bigger. And so even more to your point, who knows? Maybe Matt Arnold and them are looking and going, a Skubal alone is not a reason to be able to think that we're the favorites, even if we get Skubal. Maybe they're looking at the risks the same way that you were, Aaron, and going, we need more than that. We can't give up all of these players to be there. We can't do it. The 480 chimes in and says, if they could get Miller or Detmer or Wood and Abrams, and he said, I know this isn't happening, but in my opinion, that would put them right back in it, and they would be a huge threat. But that being said, I don't think they'll do any huge moves. That Cactus Pete in the 480 saying that essentially he'd love if they would make more moves and give some names of players that he wishes they would, yet he doesn't think that any of that is happening. 414 says, play the hot players all the way to the pennant. Yeah, well, they need to be hot. Now, here's the other thing, too. It's still August, right? And so I feel like we kind of saw that last season. When you talk about being the hot team, which I do agree with, right, of if you're the hot team, sometimes the hot team can get past the best team. We saw that happen with the Cardinals beating the Brewers in 2011. The Brewers were absolutely the better team in 2011. They just weren't the hot team. David Freese ended up being the hottest player in baseball at the worst time.
And yeah, the Rangers were better than the Cardinals in the World Series too, and the Cardinals ended up beating them.
Yep. That was the definition of being the hot team at the right time. Last season for the Brewers, it seemed like the Brewers were kind of going into the postseason on kind of a downturn, but then they still won. They got past the Cubs, and then it was David versus Goliath, and Goliath won. So you take it for what it is. The 414 says, what do you know that Murphy and Arnold don't know? Please enlighten us. I'm going to go with what the guys who get paid and have been in baseball for many, many years pretty much know what they're doing. Did you see Stevenson and Sharp go at it? If not, Stevenson made the perfect argument. Yeah, okay. So, again, we're all looking at Matt Arnold, and I've said it multiple times that we have to trust Matt Arnold with the moves he makes. I just need him to make moves.
You think if we asked Matt Arnold and Mark Antanasio and they had to tell the truth, think if we asked them if they think they have a chance against the Dodgers, you think they'd say yes?
Right.
They just can't say that.
262 said, did Aaron fall out of bed and get a concussion last night? Boy, I don't think so. He's talking even crazier than normal. Go for it next season. That won't matter either because and I don't know, something about the Dodgers.
It says Dodgers will sign
long-term anyway.
Yeah. Are they? I mean, that's not a certainty yet. And how am I talking crazier than normal? I'm agreeing with all the people that were disagreeing with me the other day. So let's pick a lane, people. Either I'm agreeing with you or I'm disagreeing. I'm never always disagreeing.
Jonah from River Falls trying to get you ready for your birthday on Wednesday, saying Aaron Morris is absolutely insane for calling this season broken. Pouting on the air because the Dodgers got Skubal is not a good look. They got a big arm. Now go get a big bat. Well, a few things there. First of all, we talked about this. What big bats are out? There's not a bat that's equivalent to Skubal on the mound. There's not one available. at all, much less it being a bat that the Brewers are interested or could put a package together for. It's just not a thing. So I'm not exactly sure what we want to do there. I'm not positive.
I'm not the only one calling this broken either. The MLB is broken right now.
I agree with that. I agree.
Yeah,
with I don't think the season's over though.
It's not pouting. Yeah, I mean, this MLB is broken. It's that simple.
I think that right now you and everyone else, myself included, we wanted the Brewers to go for it. We wanted them to do what Deal and Doug Melvin used to do and make a move, because we were saying, yep, we've had prospects, we'll have prospects, we have a ton of prospects, but we don't have a World Series. Go make the moves to get a World Series. And when Skubal went to the Dodgers, you're feeling like, what the heck is the point? I'm sitting here going, it's not that the season's over. We're just in the same spot we are. It's still going to be David versus Goliath. If we get to that point, we got to get to that point first. It's just, I definitely don't think it makes sense to do nothing, like Sparky said, or to just throw in the towel, like you're saying. I don't agree with that. We have 10 hours, less than 10 hours to make a move. I'm hoping that Matt Arnold does something. 715 said, morning, guys. Excellent show as usual. Appreciate you. They said the issue with the Brewers is that lack of power on a consistent basis. Your pitching is pretty much on par with the Dodgers, but as history shows during the playoffs, you better be able to hit the long ball. Somehow your best bet is to try to find that one guy that can consistently provide that. Again, great. I wish that was the case. I mean, even if you look at some of these guys, because there have been a few names that have been thrown out there. Cactus Pete threw out a few with Wood or Abrams, and there are people, but they're not all-star bats.
They also have to be available. Just because Jeff Passan or John Morosi or Ken Rosenthal say that, the Brewers are interested or that the teams are calling, doesn't mean that the Nationals want to trade James Wood or want to trade CJ Abrams or, the Astros would ever think about trading Yordan Alvarez, which I believe they never were even thinking that, and they're not now, certainly. Like, teams have to want to trade these players. Just because it's reported or sourced that they might be interested doesn't mean they actually are.
Right.
There's really probably not a bat on the market that is as impactful as needed.
I mean, I think that that's a big part of the equation here, is that with offensive power and what we need offensively for the Brewers, we would have to convince a team, we would have to make them an offer they couldn't refuse. The leverage that the Brewers had was more towards pitching. There's not a team that is such a huge seller at the trade deadline that has offensive power that they're trying to get the best haul for. There are teams that are going, okay, we're close. We're close. I did see someone that said that extra wild card spot was ruining the trade deadline. I thought that is
certainly. I certainly agree with that. I don't know if it's ruined it, but it's definitely made it worse in terms of bigger moves, because teams think that they have a better chance, and they do. And usually they're wrong, and they're not going to make that comeback, but it makes them have a little extra hope.
I mean, I'm just saying, if you are, like you just brought up with the Padres, if you're the Padres and you're a game out, you can't be a seller.
No, absolutely not. I'm talking more like the Washington Nationals, who are 4.5 back.
Sure.
Or even the Cardinals, who are 4 back and have to pass 4 teams. Like,
didn't those
Pirates teams aren't making it.
Make a trade? Didn't the Pirates go acquire someone?
Yeah, they're 3.5 back. They've lost 7 of their last 10 games, so they're on a little bit of a downturn.
But even them, like, they went and acquired a guy instead of selling. It's definitely I agree with the idea of that. If you have a shot, you're going to go for it. And there are more shots.
Different circumstances for the Pirates. They're just trying to sneak into the playoffs just to say that they did. The Brewers and Cubs, Phillies, Braves, Rays, Yankees, all those teams are trying to make moves to win a World Series. Whereas like the Pirates are like, can we just get a playoff spot so our fans stop yelling at us? That's their whole motivation.
Sure. The 262 says, how do you say there's not a bat available? Was Luis Garcia Jr. reportedly available before the Yankees traded for him? No. Stop pretending like they can't acquire a bat.
No, it was reported.
Yeah,
Luis Garcia was on the market. Yeah.
And also, again, we're not saying that the Brewers can't go get someone.
Right. Yeah. No, there's bats on the market.
But it's what they'd have to give up. It's what
that
they'd have to give up. If you were upset with what the Dodgers were asking for, or the Tigers were asking for Skubal, with that trade, that McCalvy tweet of what they were looking for from the Brewers, if you were upset that we were going to have to give up that much, you're going to hate the package that's going to have to be together to get a big name bat away from one of these teams that thinks that they still might have a shot. It's the way it is.
We're talking also impact. Like there's bats on the market, certainly guys like Luis Ariz or Dalton Varsho or Gleyber Torres, but are those guys really going to make that big of a difference? That's what we're talking about. We're talking about there's no James Wood available. James Wood's not available most likely, but there's none of those guys available. That's what we're saying.
And also you got to remember, that's not usually how the Brewers do things either. Last year they went and they got Andrew Vaughn, which when they got him, we went, oh, boy, what are we doing? And then he ended up, they fixed him. Something changed. I'd love for something to change again, Vaughn to start being that Vaughn of last year. But that's more what the Brewers do. I'm hoping that at the very least they do that. Go get a name of someone I don't know and continue doing what Matt Arnold does and what this Brewers organization does. They find diamonds in the rough that other teams give up on. And then they end up making those other teams look like fools. I do that. I'd be absolutely fine with that. We continue the conversation. We want more of your participation as well. Keep your texts coming in this morning on the Nicolay Law Fan Talking text line, 414-677-1250. More of the Wisconsin Sports Wake Up Call. When we return, we're live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Wisconsin Sports Radio Network is proudly outfitted by Burghardt Sporting Goods, our official apparel partner. Outfit your team or company with custom apparel today at BSG1881.com. You can see on the Growth Law stream, Injured Growth gets it, wearing some of that gear. Got a new hat, got a nice quarter zip. Aaron, your stuff's coming. Don't worry about it. Your stuff be here before you know it. I just made more of an effort. I was like, I need mine before I go up to camp. Made sure and got it. You should get yours as well. BSG1881.com. Big shout out to our friends at Burghardt Sporting Goods. Welcome back to the Wisconsin Sports Wake Up Call. Josh Albrecht, Aaron Morse, alongside with you guys all on the Nicolay Law talking text line 414-677-1250. We're talking everything Brewers and trade deadline. It's trade deadline day. The Brewers to this point not only did not get Skubal, but they haven't made that big move. As much as we want to focus on kind of what happened with Skubal, we don't really have time, right? Because we got to, if we're going to do something, we got today. We got to do it today. If this would have happened on Friday, I think we all could have gone into the weekend going, all right, that's disappointing. But now let's turn our attention to this guy. We're down to the wire. Aaron, if you had a crystal ball with 9.5 hours to go before the trade deadline, do you think that the Milwaukee Brewers make another trade?
Yeah, I do. I don't think there's a single chance. I don't think there's it's an absolute. There's going to be a trade made.
Okay. But not an impactful trade?
Not impactful enough. It's impossible to get an impactful enough trade.
It's impossible to get the trade. So you won't be satisfied at all. In your opinion, you're with Sparky in there's no reason to make a trade.
No. I don't think there's not a reason to make a huge trade. I get like there's not a reason to make a Tarek Skubal level trade.
Okay, but what about a less than Tarek Skubal trade?
Sure. I mean, not too big of one, but yeah, improve the team a little bit. Yeah, sure.
Okay. I mean, I don't know what Matt Arnold has in store, what he's been. Man, I'd love if there were like documentaries of just that were just like the war rooms.
They would never do it, but that would be awesome.
Oh man, I would watch the entire thing, just the panic.
Yeah,
it would be so awesome.
I just want to know how the negotiations work. Like, do you just say, "Hey, him, and him for him," or do you say, "Okay, I'm kind of interested in these players," and now how does the back and forth go? How quickly does it go together? Is it over 3 days and you talk? Once every 10 hours? Is it 3 days? You talk once a day?
I don't think
you talk every hour.
I don't think there's necessarily a process that everyone has to follow. I think it could be a phone call, or I mean, you could be more aggressive. I'm assuming that there are GMs that get on the phone and say, "All right, I'll trade you this guy, but you got to take it right now." You hang up the phone, it's done. Apply a little bit of pressure. I don't think it's just, all right, well, I called you with this offer, and now you have 2 hours to respond, so get back to me. Like, I don't think it's like that. Who knows, though? Jonah from River Falls chimes back in on the Nicolay Law fan talking text line 414-677-1250. He says, Aaron, I'm not disagreeing with you that the system is broken. I agree with you 100% on that. But what I heard from you is this heater of a season the Brewers have been on is now broken because we didn't acquire one big arm. That's just an outrageous take, in my opinion. It seems like...
Listen, I thought they didn't have a chance to win a World Series before the Skubal trade happened. So this isn't because Skubal didn't come to the Brewers and he went to the Dodgers. It's just it's now amplified even more. I didn't have much hope for a World Series going into the year because of the Los Angeles Dodgers.
Just because the Dodgers are the Dodgers.
They have by far the best team with or without Tarek Skubal.
But if the Brewers would have gotten Skubal and had Miz and have a healthy Harrison and Henderson, that's a great rotation. Mm-hmm. And if the bats are hot at the right time, Why not? Why couldn't there be?
No, the chances with Skubal certainly would have been much, much better. I just still would have not thought that they were the favorites. The Dodgers were still the favorites to win the World Series.
I mean,
the Dodgers have about a 40% chance to win the World Series right now.
Who were the favorites last year?
The Dodgers
at the start of the postseason.
Yeah, it was by far the Dodgers.
Okay, I was curious, like, because you keep going based on the favorites, and I don't know that it's always whatever team is the favorite is the team that ends up winning it. I'm sure that the Dodgers have been the favorites for multiple years, for probably the last 5+.
And they have 3 World Series titles.
Yeah, but I'm saying it's not like a guarantee that just because I don't think it would have been the Brewers needed to become the betting favorites to have a legitimate shot. And to be honest with you, I still think that there is a shot, which is why I'm not waving a white flag. I just want them to still make a move. Just because you didn't get Skubal doesn't mean that these guys have to be done. I want Matt Arnold, at the very least, to do Matt Arnold things. You know, we did hear a lot of talk from McCalvy and other Brewers beat writers on be aggressive, go for it. This has not been going for it. This has been kind of being the same old of what the Brewers do. I'm here just saying that's what I want. I want them to be at the very least go and do something. Get something. If you weren't able to get Skubal, go and do something, even if you're going to be conservative in that regard. The 414, Kevin in West Bend says, at this point, I just hope they make a trade impactful enough to keep us ahead of the Cubs in the division and to beat them in the playoffs if they play them. That's our World Series. When we do not have the willingness to ever go all in, we can celebrate almost winning it in 82, rinse and repeat. Woof.
I am never going to utter those words.
Yeah, that is
beating the Cubs is our World Series. That is
Kevin. That's a tough take. That's a tough take.
I can't do that.
You're feeling your feelings this morning.
I can't do it.
I think we learned from last year that I'm not gonna lie. I think that was kind of the case last year. The emotions were riding so high. It was of being that and wanting the Brewers to get over that hump, win a postseason series. It's against the Cubs. It's for a chance to go back to the NLCS. And they did it, and it just left us. We were in no way where we needed to be.
I said at the start of the show, wow, like I guess we're switching roles. And the 414 text in, Josh, you're acting optimistic. Bring back the realist in you, Aaron. Spot on. So we've switched roles. We've switched roles.
That's not true. The realism is saying that there's still a chance. Pessimism is saying there isn't a chance.
No. Optimism is saying there's a chance.
No, optimism
is saying there's a chance.
Optimism is saying that they can still that they will still do it. Optimism is saying they didn't need Skubal to win and that they will still win.
Here, I'll break it down.
Realism saying they can still do it. They might not do it.
Optimism is they can beat the Dodgers. Realism is they don't have a chance. And pessimism is blow up the MLB. This is over. No one's ever winning it ever other than the Dodgers for the next 15 years.
Well, that's just being.
That's pessimism.
That's just being angry. I mean, yeah, there are degrees for sure.
It's worthless to be an MLB fan if you're not a Dodgers fan. That's pessimism.
414 says, morning, fellas. Obviously disappointed by the news of not landing a big name thus far, but everyone act like it's up to us to beat the Dodgers. There's a very good chance they could have to play the Phillies, Cubs, as much as that hurts to say, or any other team that's really hot at the end of the season. Yeah, I don't know that it's necessarily everyone saying that it's our job to beat the Dodgers. It was our job to go get Skubal, is what the rest of the MLB was saying, to try to get past the Dodgers. Obviously, there are other teams that could get it done. My question, and we brought this up last segment, Aaron, is if the Brewers aren't the team to do it, Do we want another team to beat the Dodgers? Do we want that narrative to play out of some team taking down the evil empire if it's not the Brewers?
This is what I would say about that is now I've lost my train of thought here, but that the Brewers, I'll regain it. The Brewers aren't acting, or we're not acting, fans aren't acting like it's our job. It's the Brewers' job to beat the Dodgers. But you don't want to put it in other teams' hands. You don't want to put your fate in other teams' hands. Like, all right, we can't beat the Dodgers, but hey, Philadelphia, hey, Chicago, hey, Philly, hey, Atlanta, can you do it for us, please? Like, we don't want to have to do that. As Brewers fans, we want to be the team that can control our own destiny and to go and beat the Dodgers ourselves.
Sure.
That is why acting like it. And also, I would say the Brewers are the team with the best chance to beat the Dodgers in a postseason series. So that is why everyone, Brewers fans, maybe even the national media, are acting like the Brewers have to beat the Dodgers because they are the best chance to do it in the National League.
The 414 said, not happy about it, just have to accept reality. The way baseball is structured, this is our mountaintop with this regime. I hope I'm wrong. Well, that's it. That's the thing. That's what we have to look at as a hope. We were just all hoping that wouldn't be the narrative that would have to play out this year. T in Lacrosse says, Josh, you make no sense. They're not making a move, and the only reason they are a playoff team is from the farm system. Why would they trade it away? So I'm very confused by that, T. So what are you trying to say here? That before you never thought that the Brewers were going to make a move?
T's saying that they're not going to. He believes that they're not going to trade the farm because that's why they're good and they want to stay good consistently.
Sure. So they never were going to. If you live in the world of you didn't think they were going to be aggressive at all, at any point, beyond even with Scooble, then sure. Then you're living in the idea of the bites of the apple and it is what it is, and we have to win with the team we have, and that's how
T asked why they would trade it away. Well, they would trade it away because the ultimate goal is to win a World Series.
Right.
Is it not? Like, that's why they would trade the farm system, is to win a World Series. Yeah.
You try to be better now. You realize the pieces you have, and you say, if we can trade some of the pieces for the future to be better right now, we're going to take that chance.
Yeah.
That's why you do it.
Right.
It's not just about the bites of the apple. And that's the thing, is that I think more and more Brewers fans, season in and season out, are getting sick of that phrase. They want them to go all in when they have the opportunity to do so. All right. We got one segment left to read more of your texts and wrap up the Wisconsin Sports Wake-Up Call. We will do that on the other side. When we return, we're live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. It's the return of the fan favorite everyone's been asking for. The pretzel bacon pub cheeseburger is back at Wendy's. Fresh, never frozen beef, creamy beer cheese, applewood smoked bacon, and crispy onions, all on a pretzel bun. Add a side of delicious bacon pub fries to create a combo so good you'll feel like you're at an actual pub after just one bite. It's available for limited time only, so don't delay. Get to Wendy's today. Welcome back to the Wisconsin Sports Wake Up Call. Josh Albrecht, Aaron Morse. I am live from Green Bay, Wisconsin. The Steve Zabin Show with Josh Albrecht will be taking place also from Green Bay coming up next. And then Zabe and I are off to Packers training camp. Definitely looking forward to seeing some familiar faces and acting like we have any idea what is going on the practice field. Want to read some more of your texts before we get out on the show today. Appreciate all of the participation from you guys on the Nicolay Law fan talk and text line. Matt in Minneapolis says the MLB is sort of dead. When you can pay to win in a sport, there's no point in watching it. The Dodgers win again and nothing changes. There is, and then I don't know where the text went. Oh, there's no need to watch baseball closely ever again. Well, I think that's kind of the idea of the lockout. The 920 said the gosh darn White Sox went out and got a pitcher, but we can't. That's kind of the thing. You're worried about that. You can look at what the Pirates did. The Pirates went and got a move. And the Pirates, I would have thought, were probably more sellers than anything.
The White Sox and Pirates are trying to make the playoff. They're trying to sneak into the playoffs. That is why they made a move, not because they think they can win the World Series.
The 414 says you don't have to trade the farm to acquire someone good. I'm glad they didn't trade for a rental, but it doesn't mean you can't trade one or two to improve their team. Now, yeah, I think that's the case. That is still the case. Hopefully, that is something that still happens today before 5 p.m. Central when the trade deadline hits. The 262 says, I think this team is good enough to beat anyone. I think the problem is they stopped playing the same way they were the whole season. The reason they have the best record is they play loose and do the small things to get runs or save runs. In the playoffs, the screws tighten, and that affects how they play. Pitching wasn't the problem last year and won't be this year. Murph and Yelich need to keep things loose and play the same exact way they have all year. I always think of Drew and Chris laughing after being down 2-0 to the Nets. They kept it loose and fun. That Bennett in Brookfield. Yeah, I mean, it could absolutely happen. It could happen. They got to be the hot team at the right time. And they got to put themselves in a good position.
I would be cool with them adding Mason Miller or James Wood or CJ Abrams because they have control left after this year. I think the problem with that, though, is like from the Brewers' perspective or the Rays or another small market team is that because there is a looming lockout, a potential lockout, they don't want to waste a year of control on those guys on a locked out season. You know what I'm like? They don't want to have 3 years of control with Mason Miller and one of those three be a season in which they do not play.
Sure.
Or they only play 60 games.
But I think that was more to the reason of why you went and got Scooble. If you're looking at it like the world is ending anyway, why not go for it this season?
Yeah.
Go all in.
Trade for those players after the lockout ends next year, I would say. Then I'm like, all right, go and get them. Get them once the lockout ends. Keep
in mind, we have no idea what the future holds. Everyone's saying that because Scuba went to the Dodgers, now there's guaranteed to be a lockout. We have no idea. I tweeted out, burn it down, start over. There's no guarantee they're going to do that. Even if the Dodgers go and win the whole thing. Even if during the offseason, Scooble signs a huge extension for a bunch of money. Who knows? We don't know. We have no idea what's going to play out this offseason. We just have to wait and see. All we know for sure is that right now, the Milwaukee Brewers do not have that big piece, that trade piece. We know that piece will not be Turek Skubal. And now we need to figure out, do they make something or do they not make something happen before 5 p.m. today? We'll know that on tomorrow's show. We'll be able to come in tomorrow and go, okay, they did this. How do we feel about it? Or they did nothing. And now how are we feeling?
They should make a trade. They should make a trade by 5 o'clock this evening. We'll see if they do.
Yeah, and what that trade is. Man, I really hope they do. I really hope they do something. Even if it's just me having to believe in Matt Arnold and him finding another diamond in the rough, I'll take it. All right, we'll give you more of this tomorrow. The Steve Zabin Show with Josh Albrecht is coming up next. Thanks for all your participation. This has been the Wisconsin Sports Wake Up Call, live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. We'll do it again tomorrow because we're not done yet.
Love, take control, you better run.